What is going on, guys? So I had a customer ask me a question about supplements to take when breastfeeding, and that is an incredibly difficult question to answer. Uh, my immediate one, my immediate response is I am not a doctor. I am not a physician. I do not have a medical degree. I'm a guy who does push-ups for a living, and I own a nutrition store. While I am a little bit more qualified than the average person, significantly more qualified than the average person, I am not a doctor, so I will not give any um, advice to anybody without the preface of that I am not a doctor, and anything I say to you should be immediately ran by a medical physician, somebody who has experience and significantly more knowledge in things like how certain ingredients can pass through breast milk and stuff like that. It's just it's too much of a risk for me to take on. However, I do have some suggestions that I can give that you can then take back to a physician for them to evaluate and inform you accordingly based off of what would be best considering your medical situation. So, number one, with that being said, obviously, uh, number one would be if you are breastfeeding and you are looking for a fat burner, because this question was specifically about fat burners. Um, Number one, stay away from anything with stimulants in it. Most fat burners are stimulant based. The whole point is to speed up your heart rate. It is going to significantly decrease your appetite. Um, and I don't know how a lot of those things can pass through breast milk. I would say stay away from anything with stimulants in it. So you're going to be looking at a non-stimulant fat burner. All right. With that being said, now you're narrowing the field of fat burners to work with. Second B would be to stay away from anything with GBB in it. GBB is a thermogenic ingredient. It's very potent. It will increase your body temperature by several degrees Fahrenheit within just 30 minutes of taking it. I have taken large amounts of GBB just to see what it would do, and I was sweating my balls off for several hours after the fact. And if you take it in large amounts, you can also get cold sweats. And I would not subject that to an infant. They would be absolutely miserable again if it passes through. So stay away from anything. Number one would be stay away from anything that has stimulants in it, and stay away from anything that has GBB in it or any uh, thermogenic dietary supplement. Now, there are things that are thermogenic by nature, like protein, any calorie, carbohydrates, all that stuff is calories are thermogenic. Calorie is a unit of measurement to take 1 milliliter of water and heat it by 1 degree Celsius. So, a calorie by nature is thermogenic. However, in this situation, I'm talking about an ingredient that will specifically, by its mechanism of action, increase your core body temperature. So, stay away from anything that has stimulants in it, and stay away from anything that has GBB in it. Now, if you're looking at things that could help with weight loss while you're pregnant or while you're breastfeeding, okay, so the next thing that I would say is look for something like the only thing I could suggest uh, without feeling guilt would be L-carnitine. Don't go with L-carnitine anything that says heat in it. We sell several L-carnitine supplements that have GBB in it, so again, stay away from those. We do have one that is just straight L-carnitine. We have a capsule in liquid form. Um, that is because L-carnitine will aid in fat loss through its mechanism of action, but it is not an ingredient that will speed up your heart rate. It is not an ingredient that will heat up your core body temperature. So it is safe in that sense. Safe, I say it with quotations because again, take that information to your medical physician. Um, Now, thirdly, what I would say would be is L-carnitine is really the only thing weight loss ingredient that I would say um, like in that category of weight loss and of fat burners. L-carnitine would be it. That would be the only thing that I would suggest. And again, take that to a physician. Now, if we were to look into other products that aren't fat burners that would help somebody lose weight while they are breastfeeding, I would look into your protein intake. Number one, are you getting enough protein? And I can say with some certainty and safety that taking a product like whey protein or animal protein or vegan protein is pretty safe to take while you are breastfeeding. There's no difference between drinking milk and drinking, some whey protein. I mean, there are significant differences between the two products. However, if you're looking at it from like a molecular perspective, protein is protein. So I would say up your protein intake. You'll feel more satiated. You'll have a higher thermogenic rate, a higher metabolic rate. Protein burns at a hotter temperature. So I would say go with that. Up your protein intake. Track your diet one and look and see where you're too high in something, you're too low in something. Um, so that is an option that you could take. Also, probiotics. A lot of the times when people are going through those hormonal changes, or just in general, I would look into probiotics to help aid in digestion because your body going through so much. Maybe you just need to re-regulate. You know what I mean? Make sure your fiber is up. Your fiber's up. Your protein is up. Your probiotics are solid. Those are three things, dietary supplements that I would say again take to physician, but are relatively safe for anybody to take, whether or not they are or are not breastfeeding. Um, that's like the extent of any product that I would say. Stay away from pre-workouts. Stay away from, anything along those lines, any muscle builders or anything like that. It's really unnecessary. So those are the three things that I would say are an option for you to try. Would be L-carnitine, a probiotic, with or without, and a fiber supplement. Um, so that's where I would kind of sit with that. I number one would check your diet, see where it's at. But in all honesty, like even as somebody who like I sell dietary supplements for a living, um, if you are overweight while you're breastfeeding, and I'm not talking like morbidly obese or anything like that, but women, you guys have a little bit more sensitivity when it comes to your body. Totally natural. Everybody does. Men have it too. We just don't talk about it as much. So if you are a woman who is sensitive about your weight while you're breastfeeding, take it from somebody who I have a wife who breastfed, and her body went through changes. Um, don't worry about it. Seriously. I don't I didn't want to make this video as in essence to sell dietary supplements to somebody who is breastfeeding, because I don't feel like it's entirely necessary. I feel like it's a period of time where I don't think anybody should give a shit if a woman's a little bit chubby. I mean, in general, it doesn't really matter if you've got a little extra weight, but obviously this person was feeling, insecure. I don't want to say insecure, but feeling sensitive about their physical appearance, which is totally fucking natural when you just went through the most destructive thing a woman has ever gone through in their entire life. You build a body, you have to take in all these calories, you gain a ton of weight, and then when the baby comes out, now you're sitting there, you've got them on both, you know what I mean, both mammary glands, and you just don't feel yourself. And I totally get it because I watched it firsthand. Um, and I can say with absolute certainty that it doesn't matter. And if you're a little bit overweight while you're breastfeeding, who cares? I don't even fucking want anybody's money because they feel insecure because of that situation. I will say that those are three things that if somebody were to want to take something, that would be what I would suggest to take and have it overlooked, because they're relatively safe. But in all reality, man, like if you got a little bit of extra going on while you're breastfeeding, it's gonna fall off by the time you're done because those kids, man, they drink and drink and drink, and like before you know it, like they the weight's gonna fall off because your body is hyper producing milk, which is not it's not I don't want to say not natural because it obviously is natural because it's your body doing it, but in a sense that like your body isn't normally producing milk from day to day, so it's going to have to work extra hard and burn up extra calories. So if you just watch your diet specifically, you'll burn off weight way faster than you realize. The female body is fucking amazing and how well it can adapt to those situations. Like I mean, it's thousands of years of evolution. So once you get through the breastfeeding, in the middle of it, you're still a little, you got all that baby weight going on, and it will fall off towards the end. Like most women snap back like that. Second, third kid, usually it's a little harder. Like first kid, I've watched I don't know how many women, they gain weight, they hold it while they breastfeed, and then boom, it's gone. By the time they're done breastfeeding, and then they're back to normal. So that's like my personal thing. Like those are the three supplements that I would say are uh, are positively correlated with a safe level that you could take. But outside of that, like I honestly, I'm happy with uh, saying don't take anything. You know what I mean? Just watch your diet. Up your protein no matter what. Most people are significantly deficient in protein. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. If you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding and you're uncomfortable about your weight, um, if it's an internal thing, then absolutely by all means do whatever you need to do. Don't do it to the extreme. Don't feel it. I've watched women give birth and then immediately go back to like marathon running because they're so messed up about like how they look and stuff like that. And in all honesty, like uh, 99.9% of guys don't give a shit, especially if you're a father and you've watched your significant other you know what I mean, pump out a baby, gain weight, and then nurse that baby to life. Nobody is going to look at a postpartum woman and be like, oh, I can't believe that after 3 months she hasn't gotten rid of that baby weight. You know what I mean? And if they do, I hope that one day they get thrown into a river somewhere because it's the only place that they belong. Um, so, yeah, with that being said, like, those are three things that I would suggest. And besides that, like, just watch your diet, honestly. Up your protein a little bit. And if you are starting to get back to physical activity, because that's the thing, if you go back to physical activity too quick and you start doing things like extra weightlifting, extra running, your body is not going to produce as much milk. Um, and you're not going to be able to feed your baby. And I would hate to see that. Like I think breast milk is the healthiest thing for a baby to get. Significantly healthier than formula. Obviously, not every woman is able to produce. You know, what I mean, there's all this kinds of stuff. Like my son is off breast milk now, and he is now on formula. He's got little teethies coming in now, and that was a huge deciding factor whether or not we were going to continue breastfeeding because I feel horrible watching you know when those little chompers come down. It is not pleasant. I'm not personally, not like I know or anything like that. I don't lactate. But watching my wife go through that, definitely I understand that it is not a pleasant situation to go through. So yeah, I would absolutely look at your diet, try L-carnitine, maybe a probiotic or some fiber, and then upping your whey protein. That should be more than enough to get you to a point where you feel a little bit more comfortable. And besides that, man, enjoy the natural order of things. Women tend to gain weight while they're pregnant and they hold on to it until they're done breastfeeding, and then your body will snap right back to normal and you can get back to your day to day. So yeah, that is my input on supplements to take while breastfeeding. I hope this was informative. I hope that I answered your question as best as possible. This is not something that I would be able to text because it is so complex and it leaves a margin for error in a category that I do not feel comfortable leaving a margin for error for. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer this question for you and trusting me with this question because it is so sensitive. Obviously, I'm not naming names because not only did this person obviously message me, but I've had this question asked me many times, normally in person. Because I'm not in store as much anymore, I would prefer to answer questions like this. So if you have any other questions in regards to your postpartum journey or any other questions as when you get done breastfeeding and you know what you can do there, feel free to reach out to me at any point in time, and I will do my best to answer as informatively as possible. Because I want you guys to be happy, I want you to be healthy, I want you to be safe, and I want your kids to be healthy, I want your kids to be happy, I want your kids to be safe, and I want everybody to be able to get to a point where they all feel comfortable in their own skin. And if I can play at least a small part in that journey for you guys, that is fucking awesome. So yeah, feel comfortable with yourself. Check those three things out. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or hit me up personally, and I will do my best to answer the questions to the best of my professional ability. All right, see you guys.